So, I think the sound check did okay, and I just walked out of the movie Alita Battle Angel, and I thought a lot of thoughts. First of all, it's very intense, from the action, from the emotional scenes, um, and then there was a bit of that sense of no closure, so you're left hanging. I hope there's a sequel. Um, this was a movie that is gonna be a pretty hard like or don't like. I let everything go, all no expectations while watching this. I felt like more I was watching the the movie scenes of a video game, and I still like that. Um, there were some probably a little cheesy parts, like the announcer for Motorball, and other than that, I think for me personally, this was a great movie. There's a lot of positive messages and tones inside of the movie, and probably not the best movie for little children to watch, um, but still worth a watch if you can close your kid's eyes during the violent scenes. And then just the scale of the story is pretty large. There's a world, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but there's a world that they um, Zam that they could not even go to. So there's that world. There's many unanswered questions. So probably people who cannot tolerate questions would probably hate a movie like this. I actually don't mind the unanswered questions. I was more just engaged at the moment. So right there you have that was the sound of a motorbike, kind of related to the Motorball game in this movie, and there's a lot of showing off in the movie. I didn't know the director was Rodriguez. I was under the impression it might have been produced at least by Steven Spielberg, but yeah, the action, the cinematography, and everything is very flamboyant and over the edge. Probably typical Rodriguez. I would probably enjoy watching this by myself, and perhaps an enthusiastic action lover. I don't think I would recommend this to my friends that are more critical of movies, because there's just probably a critical person would hate watching this movie. And generally, I don't like watching movies with people like that, because they, it's painful being around people who are just criticizing the movie, and yeah, I kind of I consider it to be probably a lot of work and energy to be so critical and not allow yourself to enjoy a movie, despite unanswered questions, a little cheesiness, and things like that. I try to enjoy the movie as a whole, not just pinpoint down, bits and pieces here. So for me, the biggest takeaway was the positive messages and undertones, lots of criticism on society. These are typical ones of action movies, for mainstream action movies, such as the strong preying on the weak, manipulation, double agents, not just in the sense of being a spy, but even among just friends who have personal interests they want to survive. Yeah, the essence of survival was pretty raw and clear in this movie. In addition to that, I like the story personally. Person full of mystery, trying to find out who they are. And again, this is a very hard fork in the road for people. I Yeah, I just personally like that. The journey to find out who they are, and it's very metaphorical, symbolic to people every day. If you're willing, I think even into old age, people are constantly learning about themselves. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Out of 5 stars, that's a tough one. Like I would watch it again, right? But because it's a pretty hard movie to you, it'll bring out the best and worst of people when they watch this. So probably out of 5 stars, maybe 4 stars, 4.5 stars. Yeah, I'll give it 4 stars. Yeah, and then out of 10 stars, ooh, maybe like a 7. I would watch it again just for the emotion. It's an emotional pump. Yeah, this movie really pumps a lot of emotion out of you. Whether you're snickering at the Riances, or I almost cried during the scene where they're kind of being honest with each other and expressing their emotions. The action again, just don't just imagine you're watching a video game, right? Like Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. Again, another very hard like or dislike movie. And yeah, the cinematography for me was beautiful. There's a reason why it cost $200 million to create a film like that. I think because it takes. I read somewhere on Reddit that it takes a team of like 200 people to even get a few seconds of movie footage. So yeah, actually, I thought the acting was impressive, considering these are people acting with others in green suits, or they might just be. I don't know how they act with a virtual cyborg, with a purely virtual, non-human character like Alita. So again, I thought it was pretty tight. There wasn't too many awkward spaces typical of a mainstream movie. There's no awkward silences. It's basically non-stop, even during the slow moments. So I guess the pull of the movie, the inertia, scene to scene, the script. It's a very strong script, and it's very violent. I mean, people are getting their faces sliced off. And the battle scenes you're only getting glimpses of them, which I actually like flashback scenes because there's so much your imagination gets to fill the blanks in with. So yeah, this is a kind of movie that people might be interested to either read the book, or if the book doesn't exist, they might even want to motivate themselves to write a story that they get inspired off of this. So I will equate this with um, my like with my liking of elevator music, because in elevator music, or more accurately, the music you hear, the ambient music or the background music that you hear in a lobby, because that music you hear is very faint. You're only hearing about less than 10% of the full soundtrack. But if if you're okay with that and you let your musical imagination go, and enjoy it, then you can fill in all those blanks, all the missing pieces of the song with something that you like. It could be nice memories and things like that. So yes, you might think I'm a little crazy, with a comment like that, but I mean, when somebody makes $100 million building, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of quality assurance and quality checking for the experience of a, say, like a Sheraton or a five-star hotel when you walk in. It's the little details. My my friends who are designers, not just by profession but by hobby or as amateur interest level, designers always pay attention to the details. So coming back to this movie, the details were were excellent. Um, the way sunlight, the way any light, the lighting was like, for me, it was very tasteful. Um, and again, it's a very far future, talking about like clans and militias in Mars, battles on the moon, some type of anti-gravity city that's just floating in the sky. Yeah, very, very over the edge, very, very deep sci-fi, like Orson Scott Card, or I don't know, maybe even like Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica level science fiction. So thanks for listening to my ranting, and yeah, I think I'll probably watch it again if some of my friends are willing to check it out. Bye bye.